from last to fast and wait to great. Endeavor Communications is bringing the fastest so you can download huge blazing speeds and game. Think fast and contact Endeavor Communications today at join.weendeavor.com.
Mark James Landscheib taking a look at first half highlights, and there are plenty on both ends of the floor, and they are primarily featuring the two best players on the floor, my opinion anyway, Zoe Walsh from Monrovia and Chloe Kirk for the Eminence Eels.
Well, both of them really played well. Walsh was slowed a little bit with 3 fouls, so I'm anxious to see how she'll play in the second half with that. But Kirk has had a great half with 12 points, and so it's been a fun game to watch. A lot of tempo, which we weren't ready for. We really thought that Eminence would slow it down, but boy, they haven't, and they keep attacking.
Well, bottom line is this. I mean, you talk about it in football. We talk about it in basketball when you have a chance to do these games together. And Daryl Gibbs and I talked about this. In that close game at Triton Central last Friday night, I happened to be there for that, but really good player for Triton Central. And in the last minute of regulation of the 4 minutes of overtime, literally no one else touched the basketball. And Daryl said that's what frustrated him a little bit. While he appreciates the balance that his team has, bottom line is this: they need to be aware collectively as to who needs to get the basketball in the overtime, and that's Zoe Walsh.
Well, we talk all the time about players and not plays and not sets, and I think, again, when you're in crunch time, and it's early in the year, so that's probably a very coachable moment for Coach Gibbs, but you want to make sure that your best players have it and have a chance to influence the outcome of the game. And when it doesn't happen, you break down on film and you kind of rethink the girls and reset their mindset on what should happen.
Eels were 19-6 a year ago. A couple of seasons at Southport for their head coach, Matt Seifers. Sectional championship for this school in 95 and 96, 97, 99, 23, and 24. Won a regional in 1999. Part of sectional 58, Greenwood Christian, Lutheran, Central Christian, Traders Point, and Victory Prep.
Both coaches know how to win. Both coaches do a great job of teaching, patience and just being able to win on defense. And both teams really have done a good job of kind of clamping down when needed to on the defensive end. And so I'll be anxious to see what kind of adjustments were made at halftime.
I think Bulldogs need to avoid getting deeper into foul trouble.
Yeah.
And I think if you're Eminence, I think you force Monrovia to continue to adjust. And I think you keep the game plan that has gotten you within 4 points. And quite frankly, had it not been for 7 straight turnovers in the first quarter, who knows what things might look like right now.
Well, the other thing I would look at if I'm Daryl Gibbs is that 1-3-1 really kind of slowed down Eminence and really caused them problems. I would look at adjusting that defense again and seeing if you can add some confusion to what they're trying to get done.
Bulldogs have the basketball to start the second half of that 4-point lead. A look down low, and the ball's knocked away, and a turnover to start the second half for the Bulldogs. And again, it's the bugaboo that it really troubles him with turnovers and not being mentally strong with the basketball. He said, I don't question our physicality. I just worry about how mentally weak we are with the basketball at times.
Well, just like in any sport, the ball is the most important aspect, and you got to make sure that you value it as much as you can.
Grace Deaton. Now, once upon a time, Grace Deaton would have settled for that 3, but she saw the lane open up. She goes to the bucket. She's going to be rewarded with a free throw.
That was Chloe Kirk's second foul, but great job by Grace there of just understanding where the defense was and where the help was, and the help was late and rotating over, and Grace was able to get to the free throw line.
Bulldogs have not shot free throws well, with the exception of Cameron Wolf. Zoe Walls has struggled. Grace has struggled a little bit. That one's good. 4 points for Deaton. Bumps the lead back up to 5. It seems like it's been 4 or 5 for the last 7 minutes of the game going back to the second quarter.
Well, Monrovia's done a great job on defense and just making sure that they're making everything tough on Eminence, and they're not letting them get within that 4 or 5 point range. And so give them credit.
Ava Sims picks up her first foul. Eminence with some trouble getting it in. They finally do. Top of the key, 3. Yes. Wow. How about that with a catch and shoot?
Wow.
Yeah, Youngblood has 8 points, and she has cut the lead down to 2 at 30-28. Hamlin throws it up too hard, and it's all white shirts underneath. In transition come the Eels. They can tie it or take the lead with a 3. Webb, top of the circle. Yes, how about it?
Wow.
5 points for Emma Webb, and it is 31-30. Eminence jumps back in front.
And I think right now the Eminence crowd's stunned because the coaches are trying to get them to make a little noise, and I think they're in shell shock right now.
Zoe Walls takes matters into her own hands, and she has 7 points now, gives the lead right back at 32-31.
Well, we talked about it again. Your good players have to perform in the clutch and when you need it, and she did there.
Kirk with a kick out to Youngblood. Her 3 is no good, and the rebound is controlled by Allie Talent. Talent runs it ahead to Zoe Walls, trying to go inside out with a 3. No. There with the rebound is Hamlin, and it's 4 straight for the Bulldogs.
Great job of Hamlin of getting position, knowing where Zoe was trying to shoot it from and where the likely rebound was going to happen.
Just like that, the lead is 3. The Bulldogs do not rotate back defensively, and Zoe Walls made the nice recovery and knocked away the entry pass.
Great job of communicating and great vision there by Zoe Walls of understanding where the ball was going to go in anticipation here. So super job by the sophomore.
Wolf in, Hamlin out, and I think Daryl Gibbs is managing the foul situation right now.
Well, Wolf has done a great job of scoring all year long. So, 5 count.
Wow. She looked away for just a moment, and no one was coming to the basketball. And so a turnover. Bulldogs trying to create some opportunities off their defense like they did when they started out down 10-2. Wall's going to drive, spin move, throws it up, and can't get it to fall, but she'll go to the line.
I just like the idea how Zoe's attacking the rim, and I think that's a great. Again, she is her size in general, a 6-footer gives her a huge advantage over Dedamore, who's only 5'5".
And again, folks, she is just a sophomore.
And her future is certainly bright, and again, I like her anticipation, her basketball IQ, and I think those are only going to get enhanced as she gets older and more experienced.
Both free throws good. She has 9, and after the Bulldogs had led by 4 at halftime, they trailed by 1 a few moments ago. They have now bumped it back up to 5 at 36-31 and have forced a turnover. So the defensive pressure is being dialed up a bit by the Bulldogs.
I love the adjustment by Coach Gibbs of going to full court pressure. That's something that is really causing the Eels a lot of problems.
Walls with a 5-point lead in the basketball. Sees the lane open up, throws it up off the glass, and threw it up too strong. I think she expected to get fouled. She hustles back, knocks it away. Ball stolen back by Grace Deaton. Deaton to Talent. She walked with the basketball.
Turnover number 8, second this half.
Well, they're a long way from 28 that they had against Triton Central.
Well, they are taking care of the basketball, that is for sure. But I think, again, the part that's going to drive Daryl Gibbs crazy is, again, it's really not against the press or pressure. They're doing it just self-infliction.
Another turnover. Zoe Walls with the theft this time. Looks like she wants to go coast to coast. She'll drop it off instead. Little 5-footer on the baseline's no good. Bulldogs with the weak side rebound. Grace Deaton for 3. How about it? 7 points for Grace Deaton. Just like that, after the Bulldogs trailed by 1, they bumped the lead back up to 8, and they have forced yet another Eminence turnover.
That is the 15th of the game for Eminence, and it starts on defense, and I think that Daryl Gibbs will be the first one to tell you when his defense is playing well, it starts their offense on the defensive end.
39-31. Deaton flips it out of the double team to Talent. Walls is going to go strong to the glass. Up off the glass, rolls around, no. Rebound controlled by Emma Webb. I tell you, Webb is not going to load up the stat sheets, but she's just always around the basketball. Deep 3 put up, might have rushed it a little bit. Chloe Kirk chucks up the air ball.
I agree. Emma Webb has given the Eels a little burst off, just from the opening tip, and really I think he's played very well.
Zoe Walls with the inbounds, races up the floor, kicks it off to Grace Deaton, and she thought about it, trust me. She was loading it up. Ava Sims gets the screen, gives it right back. Wolf goes up for the shot. It's blocked for the foul. Great give and go.
Super job of moving without the basketball there by Wolf. Sims finds her. Great job of going up and drawing the second foul on Webb.
On Emma Webb.
Team's third of the quarter. Cameron Wolf had 9 points in the first quarter, and most of those on 6 of 6 shooting from the free throw line. Well, she is all but automatic.
It's smooth. She's in rhythm. I like the way the sophomore. She's got a lot of game. I like her. And we jinxed her.
Always do.
Yep.
Back to a 9-point lead after they trailed by 1 just a few moments ago. And a timeout being taken by the Eminence Eels. We'll keep it here because this game is proudly sponsored by Endeavor Communications. Doesn't just provide ordinary old internet service. Their blazing fast, high-speed, fiber-based service is a game changer. Don't settle for less. Switch to Endeavor for the winning play in connectivity. Visit WeEndeavor.com or call 800-922-6677. Endeavor Internet, your fiber connection, your victory. How was your visit with John Regatius at halftime?
Boy, what a personality. I tell you what, Monrovia's lucky to have him. He's got a great vision. He's got great passion. You talked about it. He makes all decisions based on what's best for the school and students. And I think Monrovia hit a grand slam with hiring John.
Well, timing is everything, and it's because we were able to hire, I say we, because I'm employed there as a teacher, but I say that able to make the hire, and because of the fact that we added John Regatius as the athletic director, that certainly opened the door when Nick Hinojosa left and went to Lebanon High School as their new head basketball coach. John came to me one day and said, hey, you thinking what I'm thinking? And so next thing you know, we hire a coach with 501 career wins in Brian Barber.
Well, you got yourself a fantastic person to lead your boys program on the court and off, and I think Brian will do some amazing things here for the Bulldogs.
Well, you combine him with Nick Hinojosa. After Nick Hinojosa left, you look at Nick Purica, the assistant principal, Mike Springer, our principal, and boy, I tell you what, you got some former head coaches there. And guys that are lifers in terms of student-based athletics, double dribble. They're all lifers in terms of student-based athletics, and the kids at Monrovia High School are going to benefit from that.
Well, I just like when things come together. The facilities are going to get better. The students are there. The community is growing. And I think when you got the vision of not a good principal, but an amazing principal, great assistant principal, great AD, and so all of a sudden you attract better coaches and obviously better families that want to move there, so that's a big deal.
Sims with a drive to the bucket gets rejected on the reverse layup. It'll go out of bounds and stay with Monrovia.
Eminence is not going away, but they've got to start getting a few stops here because Monrovia is doing a great job putting the ball in the bucket.
Deaton with the drive, uses the shoulder to buy some room, and the leap and leaner falls in. And Grace Deaton has 9 points, 6 of those in the quarter, just off her average of 10 per contest. I like the way Eminence moves the basketball.
I like their spacing with that. I think they do a good job. They create and put some stress and pressure on you defensively. And again, they make the extra pass.
That's a nice move,
yeah,
and Jay Youngblood, that shot's going to fall, so you keep shooting it. I mean, that's a great move, and especially great use of the left hand. Grace Deaton dribbles into a double team, and Eminence takes advantage of that. 42-31, 3-minute mark of the quarter.
Now it's a 9th turnover for the Bulldogs. Again, something Daryl Gibbs is not going to be crazy about. Youngblood
with a nice move, can't finish it, gets her own rebound, can't finish it. Who's hanging around the bucket? Emma Webb.
Yep. 7th point. She's doing some nice things there for the Eels.
Deaton walked with the basketball, got away with it. Got hacked, too. Sims down to Walls, but too many arms there, collapsed around her defensively, and it goes out of bounds. It'll stay with Monrovia.
I like Youngblood. She had a great move down here. It didn't go. She sagged back aside on help side and knocked the ball away from Walls because Walls was going to have a chance for an easy layup.
Well, we talked about how young this Monrovia basketball team is. I mean, Matt Severs is not going to have to go to a lot of graduation parties. Just the one, Abby Dittmore, and a good strong move by Zoe Walls puts her in double figures with 11. So both of these teams, young basketball teams, they're going to get to know one another very well over the next couple of years.
Well, both of them, again, I just like the way they're both playing. They both are playing good defense. They are spreading the court well. They're communicating. And again, right now the difference in this game is that Eminence has 16 turnovers.
Good reverse move, but not a good finish, and the ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay with Eminence. I tell you what, Chloe Kirk cracks me up. I mean, she's working that perimeter all the time, and I'm telling you, she's thinking shoot, and she can hit.
Well, when you can attack and have that mindset and that confidence, that's going to just bleed over to your other teammates, and I think they have a lot of confidence in her.
Allie Talent comes in and spells Grace Deaton, probably for the final two. We'll see. Good player. That's all there is to it.
Nice pull up.
She's going to be able to finish those shots. Hustles back to the floor and ties up the ball. Alternating possession. It'll stay with Eminence yet again and bandaged up. Chloe Smith, the freshman, still fighting for the basketball.
She really is, and she's not back down for getting a little something happened to her chin when she hit the floor. So I've just been impressed with her.
And that left-handed shot's a good-looking shot by Youngblood. She just can't get it to fall. Zoe Walls in transition. Nice crossover move. But again, good hustle back defensively for Eminence. I mean, they're contesting passing lanes, and there she is on the floor again, Chloe Smith.
Well, Chloe Smith is not afraid of contact. She's aggressive. Again, I use the word attack. And when you attack the rim, attack the ball, good things happen.
So Daryl Gibbs will put Grace Deaton back in the ball game, and Zoe Walls goes to the sidelines. I'm guessing for the final minute 40 to protect that other foul.
Well, she's got 3. I think that's a great call by Coach Gibbs to get her off the floor.
Grace Deaton off the inbounds for 3.
That's pretty.
Heating up a little bit. She's got 12 points now, just above her average at 47-33. Bulldogs, good hustle play by Deaton. Talent runs it ahead. Englert, little head and shoulders fake, gets partially blocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Monrovia.
That was a great job there by Youngblood there. It was 2-on-1 or almost 3-on-1. Great job of deflecting the ball out of bounds.
Now, a curious call to bring Hamlin back with her fouls with the final
just
minute
has
23. But
I agree.
We're undefeated sitting over here, aren't we?
We are. It's awesome. I love it from this view.
Hamlin, nice look down low to Ava Sims. She throws it up and will be rewarded with a couple of free throws.
That could go on either Smith or Kirk, and to see who that's on. Looks like it's going to be on Smith, her third.
Chloe Smith picks up the personal foul. Sims at the free throw line, knocks it down, looking to get in double figures. The kind of balance that Daryl Gibbs likes. 10 for Wolf, 12 for Deaton, 11 for Walls. Sims can get into double figures with 10 here. I mean, weren't they down 1 just a few minutes ago?
They were, but it's just a situation that Monrovia turned up the defense, and they have not looked back since.
Double figures, Ava Sims, and suddenly it's 49-33 with a minute to go in the quarter. Three-pointer, air ball, Chloe Kirk.
And the other part that's hurt the Eagles a little bit, they've gotten good shots. They aren't knocking them down. And I think that if you look at Youngblood, she had 2 really good moves to her left side, and both of them could have knocked down, which would be huge.
Something happened after that shot to Kirk. I don't know if some sweat got in her eye or something, but she's having trouble seeing. It looks like she's going to be all right.
Yeah, I like Kirk. She's got a nice shot. She's done a nice job. And
I watched the film of their Brown County game, and the Eagles had no answer for her. I mean, she was impressive. Talent, strong move up off the glass and in. Allie Talent on the board with 4 points now. 51-33, and it's all Bulldogs at this point.
This was a very, very good first half game, but I think defensively they've done a good job of turning the Eels over.
And again, what's interesting about it is it was about the Bulldogs had a 4-point lead at halftime, and then Eminence goes on a little bit of a run and they get a 1-point lead.
Yes.
And since that time, it's been all Monrovia.
Well, Monrovia, done a good job with Chloe Walls and with Deaton, and they've done a good job of expanding this lead to 18.
Well, it's been their defense, just like it was early on. I mean, it was 10-2 early on for Eminence, and then all of a sudden the defense dialed up and forced, 7 or 8 straight turnovers?
It was unbelievable. It was 8 straight, and now look for Monrovia to hold for the last shot, which I like that.
Sims, Talon.
Thought it might have been off the foul. That
Grace
was.
Deaton. Monrovia's players are extending their arms and getting away with it to buy some room. Shot forced up, no. Weak side rebound, yes. And that was Elena Rees-Terhune. Another one of the few seniors on this Bulldog roster gets into the ball game during mop-up time in that third quarter. Throws one up at the buzzer and gives her basketball team a 20-point lead headed to the fourth quarter, 53-33. Back after this.
It's time to supercharge your internet with ridiculous speeds up to 1 gig from Endeavor. Get ready for high gear downloads that power buffer-free streaming, gaming, sharing, and surfing. And fire up all your devices at once with reliable speeds amplified by the latest Wi-Fi equipment. Get on the fast track to a powerful online experience. Contact Endeavor and supercharge your internet today.
An interesting third quarter, most assuredly. It was 29-25 at the end of the first half. Bulldogs come out with a 4-point lead. Eminence dials up the defensive pressure. It results in a couple of turnovers, and all of a sudden, the Eminence Eels go up by 1. And since that time, it has been all Monrovia. Zoe Walls kind of forced the issue offensively. Bulldogs dialed up the pressure defensively. A few missed shots by Eminence. And the next thing you know, Matt Seifers and company go into the fourth quarter against a really strong defensive Monrovia team, and they find themselves in a 20-point hole.
Well, Deaton, 12. You've got Wolf with 10. You've got Walls with 11. You've got Sims with 10. That's something that has to really make Daryl Gibbs, you talked about that, the balance of scoring has to make him really happy right now.
Bulldog basketball to start the fourth quarter.
And I like this. At some point, you're going to have to hold the basketball, and you might as well practice it and see what areas you have to improve on and what's going on. But up 20, I'm not sure that the Eels can score 20 in this half.
This is what Daryl Gibbs talked about, though, when he said you have to be strong with the basketball.
Right.
And he said, and coaches will tell you this at any level. At some point, you have to do something with the basketball. You have to do something with it. And dribbling the basketball is not the solution. They want you to get rid of it as quickly as you can and keep moving.
Well, I like the adjustment here of 2-3 by Daryl. He wants to try to make sure that they can get out in active hands. I like it. Good job by Talent.
He talks about this 2-3 and their length, especially inside, restricting passing lanes. That's the whole goal of this.
Well, you got to be able to communicate and talk in the 2-3 because you got to be able to know where everyone is, and then you got to be able to find them out and block them out.
Boy, they did a nice job of spreading the floor. They rotated Jay Youngblood around, and she is in double figures with 10 points now. She's had a nice game for them. And we've got a foul.
That's going to be number 3 on Aubrey Youngblood.
Looking over to Daryl Gibbs for the play.
On Aubrey Youngblood.
Aubrey Youngblood, as you heard, picked up the personal. Coach Scheib told you that's her third. First of the quarter for the team. Lob inside, get it right back to Deaton. She thought about it from 3. and they'll reset the offense. To Zoe Walls, puts it on the floor, gets bumped, little fade away from 12, no. Eminence rebound. Transition, Kirk trying to go coast to coast, throws it up a little too short. Was a little out of control. They bailed her out. They get the rebound, rotated around to Aubrey Youngblood, who misfires. Bulldogs in transition off the air ball, and we've got a foul.
It's going to be number 3 on Kirk.
Chloe Kirk with her third foul.
You know, they went into the locker room, Monrovia did, with some pretty significant foul issues between Zoe Walls and Hamblin, and boy, they've held serve. Zoe.
Well, the one thing that Dale Gibbs has to be happy with is the girls, they're playing very aggressive, and they're playing aggressive without fouling, which is huge.
Abby Dittamore to Jay Youngblood. Long to Deaton. Pulls up for 15, the kick of the corner for the 3, and it's an air ball. Rebound to Chloe Kirk, and it's turned into a track meet. Kirk out of control, out of bounds, last touch by Eminence.
Kirk has been on the floor. She has been, getting just kind of beating and battered around here. What I think the difference of the game has been is the physicality of Monrovia. They've done a great job.
Yeah, and again, that really strong surge in the fourth quarter, the difference. Game's proudly sponsored by Endeavor Communications. Endeavor doesn't just provide ordinary old internet service. Their blazing fast, high-speed, fiber-based service is a game changer. Don't settle for less. Switch to Endeavor for the winning play of connectivity. Visit weendeavor.com or call 800-922-6677. Endeavor Internet, your fiber connection, your victory. The Monrovia High School debut of Brian Barber, 501 wins at Riverton Park, the lion's share of those in Danville. In his first year as head coach of the Bulldogs, he'll be countered by Drew Dorset, who is a Monrovia grad, has his dad as an assistant, who is a Monrovia grad, who played in a lot of these Powder Keg games. And I know he's not listening, so I can say he's one of the best shooters that I ever saw play. I would not say anything so kind if he were listening and watching. And then Mark Clifton is an assistant on that staff as well. And Mark Clifton was the assistant for Chris Sampson when he had his run with John Stanford and Matt Walls and company. So, as is always the case with this ball game, there is plenty of history and a lot of connection between these two programs.
Well, it's just great to be able to see the folks that stay around for this and that come back and give back to a game that was so good to them. And I think that you see that with both schools.
Zoe Walls, strong move. Can't finish it. Rebound controlled by the Eminence Eagles. Jay Youngblood. Aubrey Youngblood. Threw it too strong. And Chloe Smith's able to track it down. Clock working against the Eels now. Smith tries to drive, and it gets knocked out of bounds off the Bulldogs.
You know, Mark, one of the things I think that has really done, Monrovia's done a great job in the second half, they've done a great job at transition defense. There's not been a lot of easy points for Eminence. I think that's really why they struggled to score, but I give Monrovia a lot of credit. Their transition defense has been outstanding.
Another thing you got to give them credit for, I'll tell you how tough this place is to get a win. They have won 12 straight home games coming into this ball game Eminence has here.
Wow. Well, it's a great environment. It really is. It's a cool gym setting, and great job there by Jay Youngblood.
12 points for Youngblood. She averages 4.5, so it's been a good night for her. Approaching the 5-minute mark. I tell you, I've been impressed with how aggressive they are defensively. I mean, they don't give you much room to breathe. I mean, they get a body on you.
Yes.
They make every shot. Every shot is contested, and rarely has Monrovia had an open look.
Well, and I think Monrovia's done the same thing here, especially in the second half to Eminence. They have not given them anything. They've made them force them to earn it.
Wolf in transition to Zoe Walls. Baseline opens up off the glass and in. Missed a couple of point-blank looks, and I'm sure she's appreciative of finally having her 13th point, 55-37.
Well, it's such, the one thing great about early in the season is you've got a situation that you just got to learn and learn how to play and learn each other. And even though that we are only in Game 6 for Monrovia and Game 5 for Eminence, is still a learning experience for them.
foul away from the ball. Goes against Monrovia.
It's Hamlin, her third.
Third on Hamlin. And, well, they had her and Walls in foul trouble in the first half and could not close that out. But they're continuing to swing, and Youngblood is heating up. 15 points for Youngblood. 15-point lead for the Bulldogs. Baseline shot for Monrovia, no good. Rebound controlled by Evelyn Dittamore. She'll lob it ahead. Grace Deaton's going to knock it away and get it to Zoe Walls. Approaching the 4-minute mark. Walls splits the defense. Nice head and shoulders fake. Up off the glass and in.
Great job by Zoe Walls of just basically attacking the rim, and then great job by that Monrovia defense of causing an offensive foul.
Look at that move. Little head and shoulders fake.
Wow.
Got the defense
Pretty.
to bite on it. And
Pretty. Smooth.
And Eminence is charged with the personal, and there's a timeout on the floor. So going to be interesting. I mean, talking to Brian Barber this week and Drew Dorsett both, I mean, there's always the unknown starting the season, and Drew Dorsett said flat out, we've got a couple of really good seniors that we're going to lay on. He said, I'm going to throw some freshmen into the deep end of the pool, and he said it might not go well early. He said this is when I wish we would go back to playing Monrovia home and home again, because I think we'll look a lot different when we get to mid to late January, if not even by Christmas. That's how impressed he is by his freshman class. And by the same token, Brian Barber said his three seniors have had total buy-in. And that's not always the case when a new coach comes on board. And because of the fact those three have bought in, everyone else has bought in as well.
Well, that's the whole key. When you take over a program, you've got to go the seniors. Hey, listen, you chose to come here. Brian chose to come here. They've been here. And so you've got to give them a chance to understand you, to understand your system, and know how much you have faith in them that they can adjust to your scheme, and I think they've done so.
And I'm sorry, it's not a given anymore that today's athlete automatically listens to a guy that's got 501 wins.
Well, unfortunately not. And it's something that I know that Brian Barber has done a great job wherever he's been, and I think he will continue to do it here for the Bulldogs.
Walls to Deaton. Gets it out of the double team. They'll go baseline, and a tough shot put up and in by Trinity Engler.
Great job there by Trinity. Tough ankle.
Back to a 19-point lead at 59-40. Boy, the Bulldogs defense has been relentless over the second half of the third quarter and all throughout this fourth quarter.
I've been really impressed with both teams. I think they both have played well. Wasn't sure how Eminence would do with the step up in competition. And they really didn't back down, especially in the first half. Just had too many turnovers in a really bad third quarter.
Baseline jumper by Webb is an air ball that the Bulldogs control it in transition, and they're going to spread it out a little bit, make Eminence work a little harder defensively. 19-point lead approaching the 3-minute mark. Bulldogs going to improve to 5-1 and hand the Eminence Eels their first loss of the season. I think we're safe in assuming that.
Well, this is a great learning experience for both teams. I think, again, anytime you can have games like this before Christmas, just kind of find out a lot about yourself. I think that Eminence has played well, but I think Monrovia's been the more physical and the more aggressive team.
Pass inbounds to Zoe Walls off a double screen, and she gets fouled and will go to the free throw line.
I think that may be 4 on Chloe Smith.
Chloe Smith picking up her fourth foul. To the line, Zoe Walls.
I like how aggressive that Zoe plays. She looks to score, looks to take advantage of, and sees the floor very well. Free throw shooting is something we got to work on.
She definitely needs to work on that. Missed a number of them tonight. Daryl Gibbs has said his mindset as a coach. He said there's no reason why we can't score at least 60 points. And if we do, we're going to be tough to beat.
Yep.
And they average 72. And they still can't get to 60 because she was 0-2 for the free throw line. Wolf was the last one to touch it. It'll go back to Eminence. So you think over the final 3:15, they'll be able to check that box off for Daryl Gibbs and get themselves into that 60-point range.
Well, Daryl understands what 60 points means, and it's really hard to match that because, again, they're playing good defense. They got great length. They're playing hard. I think those are all things that, if I'm Daryl Gibbs, I'm happy, and you keep turning them over.
Good look up the floor to Allie Talent from Zoe Walls, and Talent threw it up a little too strong. They tried to grab the rebound, and it was knocked out of bounds the last touch by Eminence. I think when they watch the film tonight and go over it, my guess is either tomorrow or Friday, he will talk about some of the point-blank looks that they've missed inside.
Well, they rush the shot. I think I think the longer that you play and the season goes, you have a feel for how much time that you've got. I think they just a half tick or a tick too quick.
Wolf with the kick, gets it right back, sees the double team, and I think, while certainly that was a strong move that almost fell, but I think from a coaching standpoint, when you make that entry pass and that double team collapses, I think as a coach you want to see that kick right back out.
Well, it's happening, but they're thinking about it. Instead of just reacting naturally, it's taking too long. And to your point, because if you kick it back out, it's an easier shot.
And that's one of the things that he talks about he wants to do with film, a good look underneath and an easy deuce underneath. (61-40). Walls in transition. Gets the offensive rebound on the weak side and one.
Field goal for Walls.
The other thing, I think that that is going to be 5 fouls on Aubrey Youngblood. The one thing that if I'm Daryl Gibbs, I'm really happy about this fourth quarter is you're playing fast, you're playing dressy, you're playing hard, and you only committed 1 foul. I think if you can play hard with not fouling, I think that's huge.
I don't know that chant makes a lot of sense considering where we are on the scoreboard.
Well,
we'll hear it anyway.
She's got 17, probably should have more like 26, but with the free throws that she's missed.
She'd have 26,
yeah, with the free throws that she's missed, but I think she's played well.
Bulldogs on the inbounds, going deep into their bench here with 2 minutes to go in the ball game. Some of the players that typically play JV getting some mop-up minutes here toward the end of the game.
I always think when the crowd's chanting your name, I think that says a lot. And I think it's always something that I know we used to always tell our kids, why is it that you know my name and I don't know yours? And that normally is because of the fact she's a really good player. I think the Eminence student body recognizes that. And again, with 17 points and multiple rebounds, Zoe Walsh has played well.
I remember one year, again, after Chris Sampson had his run, Jake Standiford, who of course played at Purdue, was on the basketball team at Monrovia, went to Mooresville, and their student section was relentless in the "You're Not Johnny" chants. Guess who hit a game-winning shot to beat him? Jake Standiford.
Normally it's the way it works out. And again, that's just something that, again, I think fans think it affects you in a negative way. It actually fires you up and it gets the juices flowing even more. And again, anybody that's ever played this game loves it when the student body is going after them.
5'7" sophomore Kaylin Arnold steps to the free throw line and gets in the book with her first point of the night. And hits them both like a veteran.
Nice stroke.
15-point, 24-point, 25-point advantage. I'll get it right. It's my preseason too, folks. 90 seconds remaining in this one.
Oh, jeez.
Ball right off the face of Chloe Smith, and she's able to gather it back in.
Emma Webb with a field goal.
Emma Webb.
Got her for 9.
Yep.
She's done a good job.
Just like I said, been around the ball a lot. Tough kid. Hey, they're going to win a lot of basketball games. No
I was going to say.
19 last year, and I think they'll have at least that many this year. By the way, visited with Richard Saucerman while you were talking to John Regasis. Sophia Saucerman, you remember, outstanding coach player for them.
Yes.
Getting about 10 minutes a game at Franklin College. Really enjoying college life.
That's awesome.
Yep. Her dad played here. He and I have been friends for a long time. It was great to catch up with him. Wish them happy holidays. And I tell you, I don't know of too many players I have watched improve over a 4-year period the way Sophia Saucerman did. I mean, by the time she was a senior, she was a dominant player and a hard worker.
Well, to be able to go in as a freshman and play early, as I think it is a big deal. And again, I'm happy for Sophie.
Shot put up, no. She gets her own rebound, Addie Jones, and a foul. Addie's been getting a lot of minutes from Monrovia. I mean, she does a nice job of spelling Hamlin inside, giving them a rebounding presence. She's also a good defender, and she will spot up and shoot it.
Just a freshman. I've been impressed. And you're 5'10" as a freshman, and you can move the way that she moves. She's only going to get better.
Well, you've got Elena Reese-Terhune as a senior, who doesn't get a lot of minutes, and Trinity Englert as a senior, who doesn't get a lot of minutes. And so that tells you that they're going to be awfully good for the foreseeable future. As she shoots the air ball with a free throw.
Been there, done that. And again, there's a little bit of nerves, and that's fine. Knew the next one was going to be short.
Banked that one home.
Yep.
Addie gets to the book. She's got a point, and it's 46-42, just trying to settle on a final score here. Bulldogs, again, came out with a 4-point lead to start the third quarter, ended up trailing by 1, and then the defense tightened down the screws, and the next thing you know, they jump out to a 15, 16, 17. I think you said, I looked up, Monrovia's down 1, then the next time I look up, they're up 14.
It's unbelievable. But it all started on defense, and boy, I tell you what, I just like Kirk. She's got a lot of game.
66-44. 22-point advantage for the Bulldogs, and it looks like they're content to dribble this one out and hold on to that powder keg. And their fans start to celebrate, and understandably so. So they survive a scare from a gritty Eminence team who falls to 4-1, and the Bulldogs improve to 5-1. The final score, 66-44, and the Bulldogs retain the powder keg for another year. Leading scorers of the ball game. How about Jay Youngblood? 15 points. Chloe Kirk, 14. Emma Webb, 9. Aubrey Youngblood with 3, and Chloe Smith with 3. For the Bulldogs, their stat sheet a little busier. 17 points for Zoe Walls, 10 points for Cameron Wolf, 12 for Grace Deaton, 10 for Ava Sims. Allie Talent with 4. Brindley Hamlin with 4. Kaylin Arnold with 2. Addie Jones has a point. And Elena Reese-Terhune hit a shot at the buzzer at the end of the first half. It was 19-12 Monrovia after trailing 10-2 early. They led 29-25 at halftime. Eminence took a 1-point lead early in the third, then the defense tightened up. And at the end of 3 quarters, they jumped out to a 20-point advantage, 53-33, and they go on to win it 64-44. Your thoughts overall on the contest?
I thought it was a very well-played first half. I thought both teams did a great job. I thought defense took over for the Bulldogs and really propelled them to a huge 20-point third quarter lead, and they never looked back. So I just think it was a big win for Daryl Gibbs again and the Bulldogs, and congratulations.
Next up, December 2nd, the Eminence Eels will host Mooresville Christian. JV action tips off at 6 p.m., and the Bulldogs will travel to University. That is a 6:30 tip-off time, also on December 2nd. Bulldogs win this one 66-44. They are now 5-1 on the season. Eminence falls to 4-1. Don't you dare go away. We'll review you in about 15 minutes or so and set the stage for the second half of our doubleheader as the Monrovia Bulldogs take on the Eminence Eels here at the Eel Tank. Mark James for Lance Scheib saying so long for now.
Want lightning-fast internet speeds? Choose Endeavor. Go from slow to whoa. From last to fast. And wait to great. Endeavor Communications is bringing the fastest internet speed in Indiana to your town. So you can download huge files in a flash. Stream videos at blazing speeds. And game online faster than you thought possible. Think fast and contact Endeavor Communications today at join.weendeavor.com.